let's discuss all the books I read in the month of January. The first 2 books I read this month were 2 books from the Heartstopper series, Volume 4 and Volume 5. I love Volume 4, and Volume 5 wasn't really my favorite. If you guys want to hear more of my thoughts on these books, definitely make sure to check out my Heartstopper review on my channel and my Heartstopper review on my blog post, because they are both great pieces of content that you should be consuming. I give a really in-depth view into this series and if you should read it or not. The next book I read was Icebreaker by Hannah Graces, the first book in the Maple Hills series. If you are on my TikTok, you know I've been raving about this book. By the way, my TikTok is at Olivia Booknook if you want to follow me, but I have been raving about this book so much. But I was getting around the end to it and I just wasn't feeling it anymore, and the reason why is just because this book doesn't have enough tension. I will read Wildfire at some point, but the tension just started to die down around the end, and it was really disappointing in my opinion. If you don't know what Icebreaker is about, it's basically about this girl named Anastasia, and she goes to college, and then she meets this hockey player. She's an ice skater. They meet. They don't like each other at first, but then they fall in love. It's not enemies to lovers, guys. It's more just like, oh, they disliked each other for the first few chapters. So if you're looking for a true enemies to lovers, don't read this. But still really good book. But this is definitely a fluffy comfort book. So if you want a comfort book, I definitely recommend reading this. And I don't think it was a bad read. I just think it got boring at the end. I also read The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. This is probably my favorite read of the whole month so far. This audiobook was amazing. The narrator was amazing, and the storytelling was just amazing. I love Kristen Hanna's writing. I think Kristen Hanna's writing is beautiful. It's amazing. It's so well done, and I just really, really love it. I cannot wait to read her next book, The Women. No one does historical fiction like Kristen Hanna. If you don't know what The Four Winds is about, it's all about the Dust Bowl and how Elsinore and her kids navigate this horrible Great Depression and the Dust Bowl and how they survive it. Y'all, this book will tear you apart! I will now discuss the books I'm currently reading. An audiobook I'm listening to is 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burke. Is that his name? I always forget his name. But I believe it's Oliver Burke. Anyways, this book is all about managing your time as a human who's going to die. It is all about confronting the finitude of life and how being a productivity geek, as the author used to call himself, is a way of trying to avoid the shortness of life. I've read quite a few self-help books, and this book is it's unique. I'm also going to discuss the books on my Kindle, which, ignore that it doesn't have a case right now, is for a reason. A book I'm reading on my Kindle is iGen by Jean M. Twenge. This book is all about Generation Z and our patterns and how we think, how we approach social media, life. It is very interesting. I really love this book. I am not too far into it yet just because it's a thick book and it's nonfiction and it's very informational, so you really have to be in the mood for it. But I still really like it, and I've been finding it really interesting. The chapters are long, but it makes sense as to why, and it's a cool book. So if you're interested in Generation Z and who we are as a generation, I definitely recommend reading the book because it's really cool. The next book I'm reading, which this is on Kindle Unlimited, I'm currently reading Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This book is really good. I'm only 5% into it, but I'm actually really enjoying it so far. It has a great introduction, and I can't wait to read the rest of it. Another book I'm reading is The Art and Business of Online Writing by Nicholas Cole. This book is so helpful for any content creator. Whether you are a YouTuber, Instagrammer, TikToker, I don't care who you are, this book is going to teach you how to capture people's attention and read your analytics like a pro. And yes, I do still think this book is great for bloggers, even though Nicholas Cole says in the book that you shouldn't blog if you want to write online. I still think this is great for bloggers because if you listen to the reasons why you shouldn't blog, I don't think it applies to everyone. And so if you still want to blog, that's great. If you don't, that's also great. His book is still super helpful for anyone who's into writing online or just creating content online. And another book I'm reading on Kindle Unlimited is Scorecard Marketing. Scorecard Marketing is a book on marketing. I don't know a lot about this book. I basically just heard Ali Abdaal recommend this book on his channel, and I decided to give it a shot because I want to be able to better market my blog. I'll see if I like it so far. I'm only 10% in, but the book's really short, so that's not too much of the book. Let's discuss the physical books I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading 1000 White Women by Jim Farkas, which, if you read my November wrap-up on my blog, you may say, Olivia, you were currently reading this in November. Well, I decided to drop it, and then I went back to it. And I'm really happy I went back to it, because I'm actually really liking this book. 1000 White Women is about if 1000 white women were traded to the Native Americans as a peace thing between the US and the Native Americans. It's all about May Dodd's journey and how she escapes the mental asylum to go and marry a Native American. Just don't expect a super easy, accessible read. And the last book I'm reading is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. This book is also on Kindle Unlimited, but I'm reading it as a physical book, and you can also listen to it in your earbuds on Kindle Unlimited, which is really cool because a lot of books you can't do that with. So just putting that up there. Regretting You is about Morgan and Clara. They are mother and daughter. Clara's the daughter, Morgan's the mother. Morgan had Clara at the age of 16 or 17 years old, and now Clara is a teenager, Morgan is older, and the father is dead. This book is extremely Hallmarky. I'm enjoying it, but it's very Hallmark film-esque. So if you love Hallmark films, you're gonna love Colleen Hoover's Regretting You. It's still really good, so I really like it, but this definitely reads like a Hallmark book. I mean, film. Anyways, guys, those are all the books I've read and I'm currently reading. If you want a more accurate version of the books I am reading and have read, then definitely make sure to check out my book blog. It's oliviabooknook.com, and check out my blog posts on my monthly wrap-up.